So the correct answer is number 5. The ball could be negative or neutral. So clearly, if the ball is being attracted to the rod, there's some kind of force of attraction. It could be negatively charged. However, even if the ball is neutrally charged, the charges can be polarized, where the negative charges are attracted to one side and the positive charges are repelled to the other side. But overall, the ball is still a neutral object because there's the same number of charges there. But because the overall force of attraction is greater than the force of repulsion, the ball will still be attracted there. Polarization, again, is an important idea when it comes to electrostatics, where charges can be separated. Next, let's talk about the second method of charging, called charging by conduction or contact, and what's called an electroscope. Electroscope is a device that's designed to detect charges, and the basic way it works is you have some kind of metal lightning ball here and a metal rod conductor, and then the electroscope is housed inside an insulating glass container, and this might be like an insulated cork made out of rubber or wood. And then this metal rod has 2 gold foil leaves. So what happens is when a charged object touches this lightning rod here, the electrons then, in this case, negatively charged object, can escape down onto the leaves of this electroscope here, made out of foil here, and then the legs will literally separate here because the electrons will repel each other there. So what an electroscope helps you do is it helps you detect the presence of a charge. If I bring a negatively charged rod up into an electroscope, you can see here in this animation, these little foil leaves will fly apart there. So electroscopes are useful tools to help you see charging by contact, directly touching an object. Another design for electroscopes is what's called a dial electroscope, which basically has same idea here, but it has a metal needle that can swivel and pivot on a deflection arm here. So when a charged object touches the electroscope, instead of the foil leaves flying apart, the needle can swing here. Or if you have a charged object and you neutralize it by touching it with your hand here, you draw away the extra positive charges by attracting negative charges off your hand there to neutralize it there. So in other words, you can see charges if the needle is deflected or not. Finally, we have what's called induction, the last method of charging. Induction means to charge indirectly, where you don't actually touch the object with a charged object. You indirectly charge it. So induction involves 3 main steps. The very first step is you bring a charged object close to a neutral object. So in this case, we just have a metal ball. We bring a negatively charged rod close to it. This causes polarization. So step 1 is you polarize a neutral object. Then the next step is you ground the object here. So notice here, we first bring the negatively charged rod near that neutral sphere, and then we ground it. By doing so, the electrons are repelled from the charged object into the ground. So the second step after polarization is you provide a ground. Then those extra electrons escape into the ground. Then we want to remove the grounding wire, otherwise we would draw away the positively charged source. And then finally we remove the charged object. So in the 3-step process, you first polarize the object, ground it, then we remove the ground, and with the charged object gone, notice then the sphere here ends up with the opposite charge of the original charged object. And notice we charged it without actually touching it with this charged object there. So what's kind of cool about induction is you can indirectly charge something without actually touching it. And that's an important concept when it comes to modern electronics. So, final concept check, and we're done with our notes for today. And this is on induction. Here we have 2 neutral conductors right here. We have 2 metal balls, and they're connected by a wire. A charged rod is brought near but doesn't touch it. Aha, okay? Now the wire is taken away, and the charged rod is removed. What would be the charge of these 2 conductors? And we have a couple possibilities. The first possibility is they both stay neutral. The second possibility is the first ball is positive, the second ball is negative. The third possibility is the first ball is negative, the second ball is positive. The fourth possibility is they're both positive, and the fifth possibility is they're both negative. Whew. Take a minute and see if you can figure this out.